What is up, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Say It Together, the Dan E Show. This is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much, and finally, the Dan E Show is here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this special episode as we review Friday Night SmackDown. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of interesting things that has been going on in news recently. Rumor has it that Punk could be released. If he does, where is he going to go? I know Road Dogg, according to Newsfeed, doesn't want him back in W. Doesn't have the best history with him, saying that he doesn't respect the Dudley Boys. I mean, the New Age Outlaws, including himself. So I don't know what's going to happen. Also, in recent news, Sasha Banks is now a runaway model. Runway model. Pretty interesting choice. And I saw a short this week with both Sasha, Naomi, and Bailey, whom we saw earlier tonight, singing Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. Pretty good. Hey! Yeah, whatever. But in any event, let's get started with tonight's talk of Friday Night SmackDown. Now, some of you may know that earlier this week, I'm going to check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. But earlier this week, a podcast was done with Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. One of the guys was admiring Roman's beard. That was funny. But in any event, after the podcast, Logan Paul challenged Roman Reigns to meet him at the press conference coming up in Las Vegas, Nevada. Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. I don't. He had a great match with The Miz. Let's give him that. But I don't really know yet. I just don't know. It could be a good match. Could be. I don't know. I mean, he went one-on-one with Mayweather and lasted and didn't get knocked the freak out. And no, Mayweather is not small enough to hit Paul Heyman in the B section. But in any events, it could happen because the press conference is coming, I think, tomorrow. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. Roman versus Logan. What's your take? Help me out on that. Also, Logan knocking out Sami Zayn early was kind of funny, as well as Paul Heyman alluding to Disneyland and Mickey Mouse. It's funny, this guy once used Mickey Mouse to make fun of The Undertaker. Undertaker, you think you impressed The Rock with your Mickey Mouse tattoos? And by taking your eyes and rolling them up into the back of your head? Or maybe Big Show, you could just, yeah. And then Undertaker, you can just die. Anybody remember that? I do. But in any event, Ricochet and Sami Zayn went one-on-one after Logan knocked the freak out of Sammy. And so, let's talk about it. Paul Heyman was being funny about Mickey Mouse earlier the night, but there was another thing that happened that was funny, and that was when Paul Heyman splashed Michael Cole with soda. I tell you, WWE is going to have a new sitcom called Everybody Hates Cole because of this, the way Cole has been being treated lately by Bailey and Paul Heyman. First of all, can we just talk about how Paul Heyman is back after being F5'd by Brock Lesnar? And also, good match. First off, thankful that there are no more SmackDown shorts. Ever since Triple H has taken leadership, we haven't seen SmackDown shorts as of lately, but we've actually seen actual matches. So I really appreciate that. We have Ricochet versus Sammy. A lot of tension is going on between the bloodline with Jay. Jay laughed when Sammy got knocked out, and Jay and Sammy butted heads on the outside, and it ruined everything because Ricochet flew onto them and went for the shooting star press on Sammy for the win. In other news, we have Karrion Cross has a message for Drew McIntyre, and later on during the announcer segment, the commentator segment, Drew McIntyre would get interrupt the segment to issue a challenge to Karrion. And I love how they have the superstars in or the wrestlers interrupting certain commentary time to make points and just disrupt everything, just like they used to, not like they used to do in the Attitude Era, but just a small bit of attitude vibe. I loved how they would have Stone Cold come in and attack everybody in the middle of the match. Kane and Undertaker were also known to do those type of things. Who remembers Kane and the Undertaker's Night of Destruction? That is what happens when Mr. McMahon calls Kane and Undertaker two pudrin pull. Nope, I can't say it. My mother might be watching. I would say it if but my mother's watching. Never know. But in any event, Drew responds later on. I think it would be great to see them in a no holds barred kind of match at Extreme Rules. That would be awesome. We're going to get Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey in Extreme Rules at the pay per view. But I don't know if challenging Ronda Rousey to an extreme match is a good idea because this is Ronda Rousey. I'm just saying. Moving forward, after that, one of the funniest things happened tonight. We saw a back to school runway. First of all, Maximum Male Models has nothing on Banks and Naomi. Let's just get that clear. The second thing I want to talk about is the hilarious facial expression on Maze's face when Strowman's music hit and Strowman came running out and just bulldozed through both of them. And I noticed how Max Dupree started to slow down when he said, "We're in Anaheim, not too far from L.A." LA Knight's starting to creep back. I really hope that happens. I really hope Triple H brings that to us because all these new names that people have come up with ever since leaving NXT, all the strange names like Butch, Good Gunther, and all these other weirdest freak names, just cringe as F. But in any event, moving forward, Braun reckoned everybody was entertaining, and Otis actually was able to do the world's strongest slam, chase Mark Henry onto Braun Strowman tonight. But Braun Strowman sat up like he was Kane and The Undertaker, and next week we're going to get those two. It's going to be a mass of humanity in that ring next week. Can't wait to see that. Moving forward, let's get down to Solo with Sami Zayn versus Madcap Moss, whom some of you know I used to call Magic Mike Moss before he lost the suspenders. Yes, I used to call him Magic Mike before he turned face and fought Corbin. But in any event, let's talk about the North American Championship match. Solo owned most of the match, but I find it very interesting. There was a lot, as we know, there's tension with the bloodline between Jay and Sammy. That tension only rose more when Solo said, "I'm going to go at this alone." But then he said, "Sammy, you coming?" That's going to draw a lot of heat. But in any event, I sound like Jim Ross with this any event thing. But in any event, we have it was a good match. Like I said, I'm very grateful that Triple H put a stop to the SmackDown shorts. And tonight we saw Solo really own that match. Madcap Moss was very competitive. That's the first time I didn't call him Magic Mike. But Madcap Moss was competitive for a bit, but Solo really owned that match in my personal opinion. And I noticed the fans were chanting Usos, had an Uso chant for Solo. And if you follow NXT 2.0, which by the way is back to gold under Triple H, I wonder if we're gonna get some heavy metal music in NXT again. I don't know. Time will tell. All I know is they got the original colors back. A lot of people are happy and excited about that, but I gotta see what happens on Tuesday. But back to tonight, we saw Solo defend his championship very successfully using his own version of the rock bottom, except with a modified twist where he turns him a little bit as he's slamming him. So I think the Rock would be feels very honored, and he really loved that one. Also, I forgot to talk about Bailey, the second reason everybody hates Cole, versus Raquel. And for the first time since coming to SmackDown, Raquel is pissed off and doesn't have a smile. We need That's good. I mean, sometimes you like to see people pissed off. It's more fun. Everybody loves Stone Cold because he was one pissed off, ornery son of a biscuit. But hey, tonight we saw Raquel fight Bailey, but the numbers game was too much because of damage control interfering, and we saw Shotzi Blackheart turn face. With that face turn, I hope they bring the tank back. Anything can happen. I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but I really hope that they bring the tank back. I really do. But let's see what happens. Now to the main event. I think I've covered just about everything. Let's get into this main event. A four-way match between the Brawling Brutes, Imperium, New Day, and Hit Row. The other member is ironically tag team champions with Keith Lee, Swerve in His Glory. Now, let's get into it. First of all, New Day mocking Imperium's entrance was hilarious. And also, we still have not seen Top Dollar fly. When are you going to stop teasing us? It's like what I'm about to say may not be SPG. It's like a woman constantly telling you she's going to take it off and doesn't. Not that I condone that. But it's like a tease. It's like unhooking the rope back in the days of ruthless aggression when Jerry Lawler was simping to the women. He would get so happy about the blondes and everything, and it's like teasing Jerry the King Lawler with unhooking the rope but never taking it off. It's like teasing Jerry Lawler, or should I say Jerry the Simp Lawler. I'm just kidding. But in any event, Top Dollar does not fly. But Top Dollar really is strong because it is now time for your Holy Smackdown moment of the week. And that Holy Smackdown moment of the week is when Top Dollar carried both the New Day and Pete Dunne at the same time and put them both on the mat. That is your SmackDown, Holy Smackdown moment of the night. So, nonetheless, great tag team match, but in the end, the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne, as I like to prefer him, would win the match, which means the Usos will be facing them at some point. And I think it's kind of fair. The only other couple of teams left, you have those guys, you have Imperium, because New Day have already faced the Usos. The Usos have already faced the Street Profits. And so you want to keep it a little fresh to see who is going to be able to stop the Usos. Probably right around the same time Roman gets stopped, if that ever happens. But in any event, a great tag match with Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne winning the match. And also hope to see Sheamus and Walter for the Intercontinental Championship again. So, what do you think about tonight's broadcast of Friday Night SmackDown? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm your host, Dan Cody, and that's all the time I got for you today. I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Peace out. if you smell what The Rock is cooking.